Venezuela este cuiul din sicriul lui Putin. Asta crede Rostislav Murzagulov. Murzagulov a fost consilierul fostului președinte rus, Dmitri Medvedev. Spune că a crezut mereu că Federația Rusă se va îndrepta spre Occident, nu într-o confruntare cu vestul. Așa că atunci când a început războiul, a fugit din Rusia, acum trăiește în Ucraina și se ocupă de organizarea opoziției ruse în exil. Vedeți un interviu cu Rostislav Murzagulov despre ce înseamnă ultimele evenimente din lume și care ar fi efectele asupra Federației Ruse. So, Rostislav, thank you very much for being with us in this interview.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I would like to ask you about Venezuela. It is the main important event of the year in the world. I would like to understand about Russian influence in Venezuela. There is any influence of Russia in Venezuela? It is big or not?
Well, Venezuela case is one of the, let's say, nails to the Putin's coffin, because, like, maybe I'm quite sure that you know
the intervention of USA in Venezuela is the nail.
Nail to the Putin's coffin. Yeah, I'm explaining why. I'm quite sure that you know exactly who is Mr. Deripaska. He is one of Putin's cashiers, and he told just a couple of days ago that Venezuela case is really bad for Russia, and maybe this is a sign of the crash of the Putin's regime, because in his counting, Americans will control more than 50% of the oil market with the control of Venezuelan oil. Well, some would say Venezuela is just 1% of the oil market, and this is not a big deal, but they can make it bigger, a lot bigger. And yes, they do 1 million barrels a day nowadays. But if Americans will invest a little money, okay, maybe big money, but anyways, they will do maybe 2, maybe 3 millions bigger amount, and let's say Russia is doing 4, and if they will replace it somehow, and they will control more than 50% of oil market in the world, so they can just do this, and they organize prices like they did with the Soviet Union. And this was not war was the end of the Soviet Union. This was oil. Yes, and then they made this the previous time. And they had all these conversations with the main producers of oil, in 80s, and it was the end. And this is going to be the end of Putin administration too, because Putin is the enemy of the world, of the civilized world. And they are thinking about how can they stop them. Of course, they won't bomb him, because of course they're afraid of the nuclear weapons. But if they can organize it some other way, of course they will do it, because no one would deal with a guy like this. He's breaking any rules of international cooperation. And this is going to be like this, I'm quite sure that.
Mm-hmm. But I saw another theory, and this theory is, I read it in New York Times. They quote Fiona Hill, a former advisor for the US president. She said that it was a proposal from Russia to switch the Venezuela for the Ukraine. I mean, US will take Venezuela, Russia will take Ukraine. This bargain could take place?
No, this is absolutely impossible, because they don't have any necessity of organizing this, and they have a lot of dangerous outcomes of this deal, if it would be, because I can remind you this service in United States, in America. A lot of people in America, 90% of Americans, are supporting Ukraine, and they want America to be still the watching dog of the democracy. And if Trump will say, look, I've just traded your opinion, I trade America and trade our role in the world, to make my pockets a little more stuffed with the dollars or rubles. Come on, this is impossible.
Mm-hmm. But what about Russia if it will be the end of Putin? What will be with Russia in that case?
This is going to be the end of Russia, but not in a minute. This is going to be like this. I can model the situation. I think that Putin will be dead like occasionally, and this is going to be like maybe like I don't know, like some air catastrophe, maybe like some really bad stuff with his health.
I'm sorry, you are speaking about the end of Putin?
Yes, and I'm quite sure that this is going to be like organized by somebody, but maybe it will be like masked by some like catastrophe or like the health problems. And after this, this is going to be the nightmare like amidst Putin's elites, because they will try to find some, you know, some Mr. Nobody, because they are doing every time like this, and they actually made it like 25 years ago. The Mr. Putin was Mr. Nobody, and they will try to organize it like with, I don't know, maybe Mishustin, the fallen, like the current prime minister, and maybe this is going to be like another guy, I don't know, some like a deputy minister or something. Like this
is the chief of Duma.
Maybe, but this is not a figure actually. But anyway, like they will find some gray mouse, like some little guy, and they will try like to make him a puppet of themselves. But this is going to be the fight between the clans. But because like now Putin is doing what Putin is doing. Like Russia is not the state. Russia is not like governing like by the normal institutions of state. Russia is a mafia. Russia is a bunch of bandits, and the main bandit like has the power to rule the processes between other bandits, between the clans of bandits, and that's how it works now in Russia. And this is actually really unstable, you know, thing, because like if Putin dies, they will try to to organize a figure, like, but who will follow his orders? Nobody. And this is going to be like for months. This is, I mean, the next Mr. Nobody will rule Russia a month. And after that, they will try to, of course, every clan will go to United States, will go to Europe, will go to China, and will try to organize some, you know, structure, like to establish them like for like the big term. But this is not going to be easy, because everyone will do like this, and they will have to like communicate and cooperate with the West. And West, what would say? Like the West would say, like, look, we want you to reorganize your dictatorship to something more like, you know, good, to something what we can cooperate in. And
even China would say that.
China, no, but well, this is not going to be like the first voice, because like what China do now, they are not, you know, actually really friend of Putin. They are just taking Putin's oil and gas like for really low prices, and this is not, you know, the ally. This is just a supplier, and they see like we can do it like cheaper for us now, and that's what they do now. This is not a cooperation, and this is not going to be like the main player. And this is going to be still West, because they have all the roots, and actually Russia was the part of Western world. You know, when I was a younger politician, let's say, in Russia, like I used to participate in programs of young politicians in Russia, like for democracy, and it was a program when we learned something like in United States, in England, in European Union, and it was like programs of reform in Russia, and we used to be involved in it, and we used to dream about like how it's going to be like Western in Russia. But nowadays, they are doing what we do now. But a lot of people still thinking about that, like it was the only option, like to organize something good, because China is giving to Russia nothing, and what shall we do? Like we have to organize something with the West, and West will like tell that you have to follow our lines, and you have to, yes, and you have to organize like real elections, like real democracy, and real cooperation with the Western world, and civilized cooperation without this Putin's banditism.
Mm-hmm. I understand, but we saw that, how you said already, in 19th. Yeah, we saw that with election, and it turned off, and now we have Putin on power. The question is, you have been one of advisor of Medvedev, yeah?
Yeah, I was responsible for PR of development of Caucasus.
Okay.
And it was, a really big Medvedev's project, and it was a cooperation with Nicolas Sarkozy and with a lot of Western guys. Like they were signing like a lot of documents for the investments.
So you work
and I was responsible for the PR and marketing of this project.
Close to Medvedev.
I have a couple of photos with him still. I'm not deleting it from my Facebook because like this was a part of my life, and I believed that Mr. Medvedev that time was a good guy.
And liberal guy.
Absolutely liberal. He looked liberal. He used to deal with you like a liberal. He used to like listen. He used to follow the advices.
So you work with Dmitri Medvedev?
Yes, I know him like I know you maybe.
Yes, and the thing is, what's changed? Because now we saw also a liberal Putin in his first days in Russia.
Look, I'm not defending Mr. Medvedev.
What's happening with these guys?
It's his sin, and he will be burned in hell for this. But I can explain why. He was a liberal in his mind. I'm quite sure of that. But after Mr. Putin sent to prison a couple of really close Medvedev friends, and sentences was really crazy, like 20 years, 22 years. And after that, Medvedev became a puppet. And after that, he started to say whatever he wanted to say, I mean, whatever Putin wanted him to say. And that's why he's like looking, I don't know even how to say it, in the air of the popular European channel. By the way, in Russia we had your news too.
I know.
Yeah.
In Russian language.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were banned Euronews in Russia, but I know for sure it was broadcasted. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm saying what I'm actually saying. Like Medvedev became a dork.
A dork. Okay. And that's happening, and that is the future of Russia. The thing is, I cannot see what's happening in Russian opposition abroad. I mean, it is Russian opposition united in Europe, in Germany, in Spain, France, where the Russian oppositions are right now. Are they united or not?
Well, we have some issues in this context, but these days maybe we will be united. I mean, Russian opposition. I think I am a part of Russian opposition, and this is really good process which Parliamentary Assembly of Europe made. I mean, it's really big deal because they are gathering all Russian opposition together, and they are organizing so-called Russian platform in Europe, and this Parliamentary Assembly of Europe, and everyone is going to join this process except of this Navalny's foundation, because after the Navalny's death, I'm afraid that they are thinking not about democracy in Russia and not about like something really good. I mean, they are thinking maybe more about themselves, and they are not participating in this process of uniting of Russian opposition. But maybe one day they will understand that this is not how it works. Like, because, like, for instance, Belarusian opposition is united more or less, and everyone in Europe sees Belarusian opposition, and they know who to deal with and who communicate with, and Belarusian people has this, participation in the processes, and very important processes, because as I mentioned above, like when the changes will come in Russia, the West will be heard in Russia, and they will say, like, these guys have to go to Russia and and they have to be like involved in the process, and we don't have such a structure nowadays, and this is really bad. But I'm afraid, I hope, this time I hope, not afraid, I hope, and I'm maybe even sure that this time we'll do it. I mean, they'll be united.
But you see, you speak about FBK, this is the Navalny Foundation, and it seems to me that you are fighting with each other. I mean, it's not like a message of unifying opposition?
Look, I cannot work with the, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I understand the question completely. And like these days, like Lithuania is going to depart, like the director of this FBK, the Volkov Leonid, like, and like the guy is saying that Ukrainian power is corrupt completely, and that they all have to be sentenced, and that like all the Russian guys who fighting for Ukraine should be dead because they are kind of not very good guys. Like, how am I supposed to react? Like, this is really like weird.
But he said it was a bad reaction. His reaction was bad, and he's apologized of that.
No, he's not actually apologizing for that. He's still saying, insisting that he said what he said, but he should do it like in the better manner. But like,
what about the Ukraine? If it will be some changes in Russia,
I'm quite sure that, you know,
I mean,
yes.
Russia could withdraw his army from Ukraine, from all Ukraine, even from Crimea.
I believe in brilliant Ukrainian future because look, I am communicating with the guys in Ukraine everywhere, like in not only politicians, not only journalists. Like I am communicating with like taxi drivers, like with the barbers
in Ukraine.
In Ukraine, of course, I'm living in Ukraine. Like for 2 years, I'm living in Ukraine. Like this is one of rare cases when the Ukrainians gave the documents for like permanent residence in Ukraine to Russian guy. Like formally, I'm still Russian. I'm having this red
Russian and formally work with one of the president of Russia.
That's right, but they gave me these documents because they are not, you know, thinking of you as like some like a formal like guy, like he was like with president of Russia and like he's a bad guy. No, they are seeing what you do now, and this is really good for them because like I see what the guys do. I mean, I see what these guys from government, how they deal, like how they work, how they say, how do they look even, you know, what do they drive, what do they eat, what do they...
My question for you and for Russian opposition is what will be with the Ukraine, what is the future of Ukraine with his territory? What is the main option of Russian opposition?
Well, Ukraine has the borders. I mean, no one is discussing it actually. Like the borders of '91, it's like the only borders of Ukraine. And the one day this is going to be the fair situation in this context. And why will we see the normal borders of Ukraine? I don't know. Maybe not during Putin's era, but as a Russian, I'm saying that we will never become the good country before we have done it, before we paid for what we've done. I mean, because like I was participating in the creation of this country, of this government, of this state, and I feel myself guilty for that. And we have to give it back. We have to pay for it, and we have to have our sentences for that.
Mm-hmm. And this is your idea of your politician idea, or it is a big idea of Russian opposition?
Well, I'm quite sure that every normal guy from Russian opposition, from real opposition, who is not criticizing Ukraine during the war, like, and I'm quite sure that like 99% of normal Russian opposition guys are thinking like this.
Who is the main character of politician in Russian opposition? You mentioned, if we are thinking about Belarusian, you know the leader of Belarusian opposition, of course. If we are speaking about Venezuela, we know Machado. What is the main character, the important guy from Russian opposition right now?
Well, formally we don't have any like one opposition leader in Russian opposition, but maybe we don't need it actually. Maybe we will have to go like more to the parliamentary model, you know, because like if we don't have like this person who like was actually elected as like a Belarusian lady, you know, if we don't have such a person, so we have to be like you know, maybe we have to have like a group of people who will, I don't know, vote in who will represent Russian opposition, like not in one person. Why do we supposed to do like this? Maybe we have to be more, it's more even democratic.
Yes, but even in a democratic country, you know, you have a president. And
sometimes in democratic country you have a parliamentary model, and this is like how it works.
Mention it. A big country with you have one person who should lead. I'm sorry.
You know, a lot of countries,
Great Britain, Germany, France, United States, of course, everywhere.
Look, I used to live in France, and I used to work in France and to learn politics in France. And I wouldn't say that France is ruling by one person. No, not at all. They're ruling.
But internationally speaking, you know, French is represented by Macron.
Nowadays, yes,
yeah.
But they still have a lot of guys who have right to speak from France, and this is normal, like for developed country. And in my opinion, like the best model of a developed country is actually Northern Europe. Like name every country you know there, and you'll find it like that. Okay, they have prime minister, sometimes president, but this is every time like only the voice of the elected people this is not like if we are speaking like I'm a philosophy doctor, so I can speak about it for ages, like to interrupt you when you want. But I would say this is not like a elite thing. This is a meritocracy thing, because they have elected and they have to follow what people wants from them.
Yeah.
This is how it works. We can be like this.
You mentioned northern countries. Finland has President Stubb, very powerful voice and very helpful for the Occident. This is what I'm thinking about. Who could
because he plays golf well, right?
Yes, but he tried to be very useful in this coalition of willings. And the thing is, I just want to understand who could lead a Russian democratic opposition right now. It could be, I don't know, you name it. I will not name nobody, but I just want to understand if there is one person who could lead.
No, we don't have this one person, but thanks to God, we have a group of very good people, keen on democracy, and
could you mention
fair people. Look, I think you know who is Garry Kasparov.
Yes.
Like he is really like a wealthy person, because he won this championships like a couple of times, and he still earned like a lot of money for just one election. And he could be, this relaxed pensioner, having his best life now, But he's fighting for democracy in Russia. Okay. This is the perfect model for me. Mr. Khodorkovsky, everyone knows that he was in prison just for the right to say to Mr. Putin that you are the nightmare for Russia, and this is the only reason why he was sentenced. And
he was not an oligarch.
He was a wealthy person too.
Yeah, an oligarch or not?
No, I think he's not an oligarch now. Now I think he's just a businessman with I don't know what capital, but not like Mr. Deripaska's, I'm afraid. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's fighting for democracy, and this is a good model for me. He's not fighting for the grants, and he's not fighting for I don't know why. This is the philosophical agenda for them, for people like this. And we have kind of
Yulia Navalny could be.
Yulia Navalny, I like her, but unfortunately he's not ruling his foundation. I'm quite sure that because this mentioned above, Volkov still ruling the foundation, and everyone knows it, unfortunately.
My last question is about Russian people. Do they follow Vladimir Putin's policy right now or not?
Well, this is really complicated to organize a survey in prison. When you are asking in prison, do you guys love your director of prison? Everyone says yes, yes, so we are happy to kiss him every time, everywhere. But no one knows actually the real what they think. But I have a connection in Russia. I have a lot of people who writing me right now, who are speaking with you, and they are writing me like on some messages, like we are changing it every time, but they want to do it, you know, and they want to do it like more and more during the months of the war. It's a very long story now, like 4 years. It's like in a couple of weeks, this is going to be more than the World War II for Russia, you know, like and they now understand that they will have to end it somehow, and they understand like that this is a nightmare for the country. This is the end maybe for the country. And we have a lot of people like this. I won't name numbers, but just believe me, it's not like 1 or 2%. It's much more.
Rostislav Murzagulov, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.